Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils, Nico Hischer Friday! I'm here with Short Sky.
What's up, Sam? Did you almost say Sunday?
I almost said Sunday. I'll admit it.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I jumped in there.
I'll admit it. I almost said Sunday. But it's a Happy Devils Nico Hischer Friday.
I'm happy with this.
Oh, I'm very happy about this. We're going to be discussing that shortly with, there he is right now, just, right in the middle of the show. We've got Scotty from beautiful New Jersey also joining in our live podcast, the Let's Go Devils podcast, brought to you by Molnar Roofing and Bobby's Auto Care. The Bobby's Auto Care hotline is actually open just for today. We're going to open it up again.
Hey there, boys. Sorry for the delay.
Ooh, you sound really bad. Hold on a sec. See, this is what happens when we don't do a sound test before the show, but you had baby duties, so that's okay. We got Scott. Can I call you Beer Baron? Can I just call you
for old time's sake? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just call you Beer Baron. But you sound not too good, so just hold on. Keep talking, Beer Baron.
All right. Like I said, I apologize about that. I was it's part of being a dad, man. You have a little baby girl. You gotta.
All right, you sound good. Now you can shut up.
Okay, good.
You can hear Shorts Guy, right? You can hear Shorts Guy.
What's going on, Scott?
Hey, what's going on, dude?
Not much, man. It's a good draft day Friday.
Oh, dude, I don't know about you boys, but I am pumped. I'm very, very excited right now.
It's funny.
This was the pick that I wanted.
Same here.
It's really funny because we heard all the Nolan Patrick hype, and then you see the rumors. At the last second, I had a feeling he may pull a 180 on the Flyers. I mean, if you knew that you're going to take Nico, and you're going in the combine, and all the reports from the reporters, all the fake predictions. I'm not going to say fake news, but fake predictions. I bet you anything. Ray Shiro and his staff punked them all, where they were looking at Nolan Ryan during the combine, and everybody.
Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, sorry. It's been I've been up since 3:45. At least you guys caught that. Nolan Patrick, and now that just ruined my whole bit. But I think they punked all of them. What do you think?
I honestly think that they tipped their hand when they made that trade with San Jose. Bringing in another kid from Switzerland. So I kind of, at that point, I figured that was it. I thought they were going to go Hischier the whole way.
I was really hoping that they would go with Nico just because of the how Nolan Patrick was injury prone in the last year. A lot of those injuries are very tough to come back from fully, and then Nico just seemed like I liked him as the better all around player. I wanted him all the way.
And his level, his game is like, you could see it's like progressing upwards. There was a great point that was made on the draft tonight. It may have been Pierre that said it, but he's like, Nolan Patrick is a great player and he's excellent in all these different areas, but he's kind of like at a plateau where he's not going to go into superstardom. He's not going to go into that next stratosphere. But Nico Hischier has that Pavel Datsyuk type of play where he could get into that potential and get into that conversation, which is 100% what the Devils need right now.
I like that. I like that comparison to Datsyuk much better than what I forget who they were comparing Nolan Patrick to. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I like the Datsyuk comparison much better.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with the type of game, the way the game is trending right now. I mean, that's the type of player that's going to carry you, with these, the playmakers. And there was a great commercial that just aired today, before the draft, where they showed a bunch of the younger guys like Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews and Line A and all these guys, and it's this next generation, this next crop of players. If you notice one, common theme between all of them is this skill level is absolutely incredible, and these guys are quick, and they have silky smooth hands. So I feel like he really fits that bill.
Yeah, and that's really what I would love to see the Devils to have. I'm excited to have him. He's got to get a little bit bigger. I mean, he's only 179, so he's got to put on a little bit of weight. But I think they said he was 6'2", which is, that's a decent height. You just got to bulk him up, maybe 20, 30 pounds.
Yeah, do you always think he's going to make it into the big club right away, or do you think he's going to have to develop a little bit?
I don't know. They were talking about him being pretty ready to go right away.
Oh, that's awesome.
However, I'm not completely against if they have to give him 1 year in, I guess Binghamton now. They give him 1 year in Binghamton, or at least half a season in Binghamton. If that was the case, I'd be okay with that, because I think they rushed Larson when we drafted him at the number 4 spot, and I don't know if he ever really fully developed like he should have. So if they have to play it a little bit safe and maybe give him half a year in Binghamton, then so be it. I'd rather wait and have him ready instead of rush him and have another Larson.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder what the two things that is like such a stupid thing to think about, but number one, what number is he going to wear? And I wonder if he's going to wear Sergei's old number, and the second question is, if he's up to stay, if he's going to automatically try to fit into that Hall line.
What number was he in juniors?
13, but old Cammy's got that one. So I think in actually no, World Juniors, I think he was 18.
Okay. So he could take Sergei's number. Yeah, and maybe if he wants 13, they tell Cammy, hey, this guy is the future. Pick another number.
Yeah, or they trade him.
Yeah, or they trade him. I mean, number. I at least know in soccer, number changes happen all the time, from season to season. So it wouldn't shock me to see that number change, if they did push to, if they did push it to happen.
Yeah, and it's either way. It's just like it's so exciting to have like something to be positive about the Devils lately. It's been such a question mark leading up to this draft if they were going to do any kind of major moves, and they still could.
Mhm.
And with the off season, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if Shattenkirk? It looks like the Rangers are clearing out space to go pick up Shattenkirk, but who knows if we can get him? Who knows if the Devils make any other trades or try to move anybody like a Camilleri? But
Well,
it's just exciting to see this at least.
the next big day is July 1st.
Mhm.
Opening up you know, with all the free agency opening up, and but yeah, I was nervous going into this. Um, I was nervous if they were going to be able to make the correct pick,
Mm.
and I don't. I wasn't. I didn't have a ton of confidence going into this that they would make the right decision, but I think that they really did, going with Nico. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if there was any. I'd be curious to hear what the proposed trades were for that first overall. That would
I
just
mean,
be fun to hear what they were offered. Um, just in hindsight, what they could have got for that first overall pick. That
yeah,
would be really interesting. But I'm very happy with their actions tonight, with what they did. Like you said, it's the first real positive thing that they've done in a while.
yeah. I mean, let's see. Let's see. I hope he pans out. I hope he's not one of these kids that comes in the league and ends up being a middle round kid or a second, third line center.
Yeah.
Uh, he looks like he's got that potential. So I'm hoping that he kind of like fills out, like you said. But there's another aspect to this kid that I think is kind of overlooked outside of the hockey sense is that he is a genuine person, and from all accounts, he is a great kid and could be used in so many different assets like marketing, especially marketing overseas. Expanding the Devils brand, which they desperately need to do.
Yes.
I think this is a huge step in that direction as well.
Yeah, and those are the things that were paramount in the Lou era. The
Hmm.
actual the person that they were drafting, not just the hockey player, but the person.
Hmm.
So yeah, to see them going back and to picking a really solid person is awesome, and I would definitely a big fan of that. So that'll be good, and like you said, for building the brand out over in Europe, you know, uh, that stuff pays itself back in spades if they can pull that
Hmm.
off correctly. You start getting that Devils brand out there in Europe, and people buying jerseys out there, and maybe it'll turn into getting more people in the seats back here at home, which would be
Oh,
nice
exactly.
for a
Oh,
change.
I can't
so
wait for the Devils Flyers on the schedule because basically, I hate to sound mean, but this could backfire. I mean, basically, the Flyers
it
just
could.
they got the scrap heap. But what happens if Nolan Patrick? I got it right this time. Nolan Patrick. What happens if he becomes like this mega superstar, Eric Lindros, bigger than life persona for the next 5, 7 years down in Philadelphia? I mean, that could happen. And then I've read a blog. I think it was SB Nation about that. Ron Hextall is just worried about the injuries that Patrick has had. Did Ray Shiro? Did he go with talent or he went with was he concerned too? I'm sure he was concerned. But with Nico, I'm telling you, the one thing that just kind of bothers me about Ray Shiro, and I know I harp on this, Jonathan Taves
Yep.
and that whole Jordan Stahl,
Hmm.
that could come back to haunt him. And the other thing
Yeah.
too, the negative Devils fan in me said, "Is he tanking the draft too?"
No, dude, you
I'm,
gotta.
I'm kidding. I'm
No.
totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. But we should be all happy. But it remains to be seen the next 5 years, maybe 10 years, how it all pans out. Who knows? Philadelphia may have a franchise player out of it, and we didn't know.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
just why did Philadelphia just have that second overall? It's like, it's going to bother me for a while.
Let's look at this from a whole nother point of view. I was talking to I played golf this morning with a friend who's a Ranger fan, and he said for the Rangers, seeing the Devils and the Flyers with the 1 and 2 pick is pretty miserable. So we can take a little bit from that, saying that it really bothered the heck out of Ranger fans to see us with the first and Philly with the second.
Yeah, but
which is why they drafted, which is probably why they moved up.
I mean, that probably had something to do with it. Getting that 7 and that 21st, they got 2 decent picks out of this draft. I mean, one guy that, if there was like a pie in the sky thing where the Devils traded out somebody to get another top pick in the draft, I wish they would have, if they could have, gone after Gabriel Velarde from the Spitfires. That kid is a beast, and I feel like he's going to be one of those dark horses in this draft that is going to pan out to be not like a superstar like a Kane or anybody like that, but I feel like he's going to be like a solid NHLer, like Dustin Brown, which is funny because he ended up going to the LA Kings, but that kind of Dustin Brown type of player with a little bit more finish to him.
Just someone that is a consistently good player.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and just like a winner, like just somebody that goes out there and like one of those guys that is a foundation player on your team.
I'm looking at the schedule, and it looks like, from what I can tell, unless I've missed something, we do not play the Flyers until January 13th.
Mm-hmm. Who did the scheduling? I want to play them opening night, but they won't do that. They got to
January 13th at home, 7 o'clock, a Saturday night.
Ooh.
And then we play them the following Saturday, 1 o'clock down there in Philly.
And by then you'll know.
Yeah, that actually may be a better time for that first matchup because they'll both hopefully be getting some time within the league, and all the nerves are out of the system and they're really playing to their full potential.
This is what I want to do in New Jersey when they play the Devils. I just want to shout on the top of my lungs when Nico scores a power play goal. You know how down in Philly, it's a Pico power play, but
it's a Nico power play.
Yeah, it's a Nico power play goal. Whatever their broadcaster's name.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be fun. I think the season's gonna be. I think I don't know. Who knows if we'll make the playoffs? Who knows what kind of moves they're still gonna make? And then we have that whole Kovalchuk albatross to deal with. But
hey, at least this made everyone forget about that for a couple days.
Oh Jesus! It's like part of me, and I know we talked about this before, and I said this. A part of me wants him to come back, and a part of me doesn't. It's like such a torn feeling, but God, I just what's gonna happen is he's gonna become a unrestricted free agent next season, and he's gonna sign with the Rangers. I just have that feeling.
That's the last thing that I want to see.
Oh God.
That's the last thing I want to see. If he doesn't want to be with us before he becomes an unrestricted free agent, you trade him.
Yeah, hopefully.
Maybe Vegas is the place to trade him to. There were the reports that he was out there
far away.
Yeah, far away in the Western Conference. Maybe we'll see him once a season, twice, and the only other time we'd see him competitively after that would be in the finals if it gets that far.
Mm-hmm. Guys, the Facebook group is going crazy.
Crazy good, crazy bad.
We got Joe Stinson joining in, Andrew Huntington. Tank, don't say that word, LOL. He'll always be in the shadow of Giroux. Mike Lucci. I don't know what that's in reference
to. Talking about Nolan Patrick.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Hey, good call. I'm just reading through this. I love the new Adidas jersey. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Shorts Guy and I were talking about that before the show.
They look better in person.
Yeah, and I got David, Let's Go Devils, and then there's Sam Wu in 2020. I don't know what that's about. Am I running for president? I'm qualified now.
That 2020 is the next presidential run, Sam.
Yeah. Robert Manella, I think Cammy is going to be difficult to move.
He will
Bobby
be. He has
Hooligan
a no trade clause.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, you know
He
what?
hasn't.
It's there's they're putting pieces together finally that look like it's starting to make sense.
Hmm.
Now they just got to make it work and make it work correctly.
Now, what do you think about? Is Nico going to start right away, or is he going to spend a year?
Well,
You know,
that's what we were going over earlier. It's I think training camp will tell a lot, and then let's hopefully not have them rush him in like they did Larson
Hmm.
if he's not ready.
I think it's just even if they do try to rush him in, I just that big worry that he comes in the league and he starts to falter and then that pressure starts to build up. But the kid seems like he has such a good character that maybe it wouldn't get to him, and he seems to excel everywhere he goes. I mean, he went to Halifax. Halifax had zero expectations this season. And he basically carried that team. So I'm hoping that he's not shy from the pressure. I think being in New Jersey and not being in New York or not being in Chicago or Boston or one of the big time cities,
Or even
there would be a
Philly.
little bit less pressure. Or Philly, for that matter, yeah. I mean, I feel like there would be a little bit less pressure. I even think being the number 2 pick for Patrick, he probably still has more pressure than he sure does, because he's in Philadelphia, and oh well, that's the number 2 pick. He better come in and be Jesus on skates or whatever. But
just
I,
remember with
Well,
Philadelphia, the Devils are on a full rebuild. Philadelphia just had a bad season. The
it's
season
true.
before they made a huge comeback and made it to the playoffs. And remember, Philadelphia had that 10 or whatever game winning streak last year. But Philadelphia, they actually have some players.
they do.
Yeah, they
They
actually have
really
some
do.
players, and they've got some really young defensemen
Hmm.
that they're coming up. I think their young goaltending is not bad, but with Nico, he's coming into a situation where the last first overall, Austin Matthews had a banner year in his rookie year.
Yeah, but
The,
that's generational.
and then go one before him, Connor McDavid. I mean, those are and there's Nico. I mean, is there pressure there? If I were the Devils, I would slow him in.
Well, but let's also consider this though. Nico's already the face of a whole country when it comes to hockey.
Hmm.
Isn't was it
Branding, dude, that's a huge, huge, huge
isn't
part of it.
Damian Bruner wasn't he like the face of the country at one point?
Yeah, but it seems like Nico Hischer is like, well, first of all, he's the highest drafted Swiss player ever. Um, I think the closest prior to this was number 5 with
And Nino
Nieder.
Niederreiter.
Yeah, and so he's already the face of a country, and that's a lot of pressure. Um, and he's handling that pretty well as of right now. So I think the pressure, coming into kind of a more quieter neighborhood like New Jersey, uh, will help, and it'll help bring him in. And it's yeah, I think in the long run he's going to do very well with that with the pressure. That I don't think will be a problem. Um, he just has to realize that as the first overall pick in 2017, yeah, he's going to be compared to the last two top overall picks, but he's also running his own race. He's not Connor McDavid.
Hmm.
He's not Austin Matthews. He's Nico Hischier. He's got to play his own game.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. And I think I think this is probably the best situation for him. Going into this draft, everybody was like, oh, of course the Devils have to get the number 1 pick in this draft. They couldn't get it last year, and it drives me nuts. Like sometimes the negative attitude that you get in a fan base.
Hey, Bear
People. I know,
Baron, I was one of those fans.
I know, I know.
yeah, originally I wasn't sold on this draft, and I was originally like that as well. But after doing research on the two of them, you know, I think uh, I think outside of the top two or three, that's really where it dropped. So I think if we were going to have a top pick in this draft, I think having first overall may have been the best one. Obviously, it's
You
the
know,
best one, but for this draft in particular, I think it's after that the top couple of picks is where it really drops off.
I started to become convinced that the Devils were contemplating picking Cale Makar, who's a defenseman, and the kid's got tons and tons of upside. Didn't play in a very competitive league, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys were watching the draft closely, but when he did go to Colorado, they were talking about comparing him to Carlson in Ottawa, and I mean, like, that's a huge comparison to anybody that's playing right now.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of buzz that the Devils were contemplating picking him up, first overall. But like Sam said earlier, that could that be, Shiro just putting on a poker face, or just trying to, bluff somebody. It's it's all part of the gamesmanship of all of this, but it's nice to have who we have. It's cool to see where we're gonna go in the future, and nice to see that we're getting younger, more talented, faster. We just need to rebuild that blue line, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, and that can be done with trades. You know, over the summer, we can trade to improve that blue line, which I think I would rather do than um, than drafting defenseman. I'd much rather a good solid defenseman that's proven instead of a
Agreed.
draft pick.
Hey, we have a caller. Should we take it? It's a 917 number. I don't know
Oh,
who
boy.
it is. We hadn't done a podcast in I guess
A little
over
while.
2 or 3, a little while.
Yeah, we have not done it in a while.
Yeah, so we're taking a caller on the Bobby's Auto Care hotline. 917. Who's this?
Oh man.
Just
Oh man.
what
You
a
just get-
Darn.
You know who it is? It's somebody calling. I hear you have problems with your credit cards.
You think?
I can help you with this. Or
Can you
one of
imagine?
those.
Can you imagine if
Dude,
we had a telemarketer calling into?
I would tell you to pick up and put him on the air. I would have a full blown conversation with him.
Just don't say yes to anything because they'll record that and use it.
Yeah, it's not like we're recording it, ourselves too. I mean, it's all over the place.
Well, whoever it was, they should try to call back.
Well, this is
We'll
great,
see.
guys, because I'm glad you guys are talking because right now my throat's hurting, and earlier in the week I actually lost my voice for 3 days. I actually got it back last night,
Ooh.
just barely. And
Yeah,
this morning,
I talked to you Wednesday night. You didn't sound very good at all.
yeah, I sounded like Randy McKay.
Yes,
Hi,
you did.
this is Randy McKay of the New Jersey Devils. These hits can kill you. No, how did it go? These hits hurt, but these, and he holds up the cigarettes. These can kill you. I think Scott Niedermeyer did the same commercial.
Yeah, what they didn't tell you is McKay smoked a pack right before he did that commercial.
That's right.
Oh my God.
I just
So
feel-
When's our?
I-
By the way, when is our next pick? It's not
I'll
till
find
second
out right
round.
now.
yeah, I don't think they have the. I think that what the NHL does is
They
they
do
mix
the
it
first
up.
night tonight, and then they do everything tomorrow.
But
Yeah.
but I remember when it was in New Jersey. We were there for a while. They did multiple rounds on that. Well, I guess that was a Saturday then.
Yeah, but that was coming off. That was coming off a shortened season, so they put it. It was actually a Sunday, if you
It was a
remember.
Sunday?
Yeah, I believe it was a Sunday.
Wow.
All I know is I couldn't think straight when I was there, and I've a funny short story about that draft, which was one of the best times of my life. We snuck into an area that we weren't supposed to be in, and the next thing I know, I'm walking around on the draft floor. I didn't get kicked out, but some guy looked at me and pointed to the stairs, and I said, "Yeah, I know. I should probably go up there, huh?" But it was pretty exciting from what I remember. But our second round pick, we have the 36th overall.
Okay.
I think we should.
That'll be tomorrow.
I think so.
The
Yeah.
good thing about rounds 2 through 7 is they just fly and
Mhm.
they get it done. No,
they don't-
no,
th-
no hoopla to it. It's just 30 32nd overall pick, 33rd pick. It just goes. They blow right through it all.
Then we have after that we have the 63rd, the 81st, in the third round. So we had the first pick in the third round,
Okay.
and then like towards the end, and then in the fourth round we have 98, and I believe that's it because we traded away the other one. Yeah, we have a bunch of we have a lot more picks coming up. So
Lots
That's if
of
we don't
picks.
trade them. That's if we don't
Yeah.
trade them.
exactly, I think we have two in the third round. I just saw. I know we already used up one of our seconds and one of our fourths. So, but those were and by the way, somebody was complaining about that the other day. Oh, I can't believe we gave away our second and our fourth. You know, a second round pick is so valuable, and I'm like, yeah, I agree, but that was a pick that we got for like I think that was the either Fiddler or Parento or one of those guys that we flipped and got that pick. I'm like, dude, Shiro just brought these guys in and turned them into picks. It wasn't even like we're giving away our original pick.
Yeah.
That's why you build these assets. That's why you get these picks.
And then you just hope that they do something right with them. So that's
Exactly.
and again we won't know until October
Mm-hmm.
if they've made the right decision.
Are you guys going October 7th? Because I am.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
We should do a podcast from the parking lot. I mean,
That'd be pretty sweet.
Did you see that party that they're having? They had.
Yeah,
in front of-
where was that party?
Well, I think here's the deal. I don't know who scheduled the Prudential Center. Now I know a lot of it probably had to do with money, but wasn't there like a Korean music festival going on the same day of the Friday draft? So the building was already booked. So they decided to take the draft day party across the street at Reds. So the Devil's Wheels, our good friend Wolverine was there. Kate as well. You know, with the Devil's Jeep, right? It was parked like on the sidewalk in front of Reds. I wish I had that parking spot. I mean,
Is he getting prime parking because of that Jeep now?
Probably.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, probably. I'm hoping that he can tow my Jeep so I can get that parking as well.
Wait a second. When he won that Jeep, does he have to pay he has to pay the taxes on it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yep, just like everyone else. I did, sales tax.
Yeah.
I did a little research on that, but yeah, you got to pay the taxes on it. But hey, he's got an awesome Devil's Jeep.
Yeah,
Yes, he does.
Pretty cool. One day we should do the podcast from the Devil's Jeep somewhere in beautiful New Jersey. Take
Cruising
some
down the
pictures,
shore.
Take
Cruising
some
down the
pictures.
shore.
Yeah. We should do that. We
this
should.
just in.
What's that?
The Flyers just traded Braden Shen to the Blues for the number 27 pick and Yari Laterra and a 2018 first-round pick.
Wow.
That's interesting. So look, the Rangers with two first-round picks, and now the Flyers with two
The
first-round
Flyers
picks.
two first-round picks. Yep.
Boy,
we
oh
only had
boy.
one.
The Metropolitan Division
we had
is
the
trying to steal all that Devil's Thunder right now. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
oh, we got two picks. Yeah, we got the scrap heap. We're cool.
Hey, maybe because they're worried. I'll take it. I'll
Man,
take that.
I can't believe they. That's a lot for Braden Shen. That's just my opinion. They traded the first round this year and the first round next year, and they traded a prospect for Braden Shen.
Now, Andrew Huntington says Devils have 9 picks tomorrow. David says, "Woo! When you do a podcast from the parking lot, the sponsors won't show up." LOL. I beg to differ. I bet you Bobby's Auto Care and Molnar Roofing would show. Actually, Molnar Roofing gave up on their season tickets, so I don't know, but they may show up for the podcast. But right now,
Molnar Roofing will be there.
yeah, you can call
Molnar Roofing will be there, providing beverages for the hosts.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, you can call in at 323-870-3871. Phone lines are open. Talking Nico, the Nico power play, the New Jerseys. You know what? I actually heard it actually looks a lot better in person than the crap that they gave out. You know, from a PR standpoint.
It looks better than the mock-ups.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it in person, at least on TV, I'd still like to see it in actual person and look at it up close.
Do you guys? Sorry to interrupt. Do you guys remember that lockout 2004 and 5,
Unfortunately, yeah.
and then Reebok came out with these new slick jerseys, and they just
And they were
ripped.
form-fitting.
Yeah, and they ripped.
Yeah.
They actually
Yes.
literally ripped. I don't think that they're going to make the same mistake, Adidas, but they look pretty sharp on second thought.
Was
what are your thoughts on the
was that
stripes?
Reebok's first attempt
Yeah.
at jerseys, just at all?
No, because they did. I'm pretty sure Reebok's done football.
But did they do that before or after the NHL?
I think they did it before.
Okay,
I don't know. I'd have to check, but I thought those first jerseys that Reebok put out weren't terrible looking. They were just you couldn't
terrible.
be over 150 pounds and wear one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the old. I mean, they basically, if I'm not mistaken, took over CCM. Those
Yes,
old
they did.
CCM jerseys
Rest in
were
peace.
just amazing. I still.
I still have a few.
Yeah, I mean, what happens to the CCM brand? I mean, that's just synonymous with hockey. It's like, all right,
Well, CCM is
CCM's
still.
still around.
Yeah, they
They're still
still do
doing
the
gear.
skates and everything.
yeah,
still
but
do gear.
without I guess the gear. I mean, without that endorsement deal or not endorsement deal. I'm sorry, the partnership that Adidas has. I don't know. It's I'm so used to CCM.
I think that it'll be fine because Adidas doesn't have. They don't have like controlling rights over every single aspect of like all the gear and stuff like that. So you'll still see like CCM, Warrior, all these other different brands that are out there. But I will say this about the jerseys. There's certain little touches that they did that were little homages to the Rockies and to the Scouts and to the Devils' early days. Even throwing that little green in the collar. I think that's cool. I think like tying in the history into the jersey is pretty cool. I know a lot of people are complaining about that black stripe on the bottom, which is supposed to be a nod towards the Newark Bulldogs, which were the first ice hockey team in New Jersey.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, man, dude, I'm full of knowledge.
Yeah,
But
there's a
there's
Newark Bulldogs jersey hanging up in the arena, I believe.
yeah, there is. If you go up that one set of stairs, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
like that the back entrance.
Yes.
But
I kind of
yeah,
like that. We should have a Bulldogs crew, just a select few. We're
just
the
get those old school
yeah.
jerseys.
There's the 233 Crazies. They've got the hard hats. They got the Devils all day all night crew, and then we could start. We could be the Bulldogs.
The Devil Dogs.
Yeah,
There we go.
the Bulldogs. Anyway, go ahead.
No, it's just there's some people complain that they said it looks like the jersey. There's like a T-shirt sticking out from underneath the jersey, just because that like black line. I don't know. It's all like aesthetic stuff that people like complain about. But overall, it's sharp. It's nice. It's simple. They didn't screw with the logo, which was the biggest fear.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might be the only one to say this, but if they went back to the green and red, I think I wouldn't even bat an eye. I think I would like it. As much as I love the black and red, there's something about that green and red that if they
Yeah.
did it the right way, it would look nice.
Um. Yeah. No. Go into all those little bits and pieces about all paying homage to history. Adidas has been really good with that in soccer for the last couple years. Just those small little things. So I'm not really surprised that they did it with the NHL jerseys. I wasn't expecting it with the NHL jerseys. Um, and I haven't done much research on the jerseys outside of ours, but I wonder if they did that with other teams as well, which would be cool to see what they've done. Um, my only worry with the only thing that I didn't think looked very aesthetically pleasing was the squaring off of the shoulders.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only thing that just aesthetically just doesn't look it doesn't look right. It looks like it's too sharp of a drop off from the shoulders. That's really was my only big issue with it.
Yeah, I heard a lot of complaints of people saying that it looks like a glorified practice jersey too, because it doesn't have the belt stripes down at the bottom or something like that, or
Yeah.
they said it looks too plain, which I mean, I don't know. It's I would love. I like it, but I would love to see it in person because
Yeah.
have a feeling that it's going to look better on ice and actually in action than it does, sitting on a mannequin.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I like the 3 championship, like what you guys said before in the collar. But then I read some negativity online.
No,
That's great, but you can't really see it.
it's supposed to be subtle. That's subtle. That's the
Yeah.
whole idea.
Yeah,
We should
but
put 3 giant Stanley Cups on the front underneath the crest with a giant middle finger in the middle of it.
yeah,
Yeah, but those are the small, subtle things that are cool about the jerseys.
Hmm.
You
I
know,
agree.
and again, they've done it in soccer for a long time, which is really awesome. And that's they're bringing that to the NHL. Um, I was a little disappointed. I was really kind of hoping for the 3 Adidas stripes somewhere on the jersey. That's just
Hmm.
like that classic
I thought it
Adidas
was going
look.
to be down the side, like
Yeah, that's what I
down the
was
rib.
thinking, and I was kind of looking forward to that, but they didn't
Hmm.
have it, so I was a little disappointed at that. But I know that probably would have really annoyed a lot of people with the 3 stripes going up and down the sides.
You know what though? They could have done it like where they ghosted it, where it's a variation of red, so it's not like blaringly obvious what it is. But if you look close, it's there.
Yeah,
I think that would have been all right, or like have that breathe right, or not breathe right, have that like breathable material, like
yeah, on the
squared down the
inside.
middle. Yeah, exactly. But either way, I don't think it's terrible. And who knows? They might remodify it after the season.
Yeah,
Um, I heard of one of the main reasons that they did this, that Adidas went in and it wasn't just the Devils because they went in and redid a few different ones. Even Nashville, they kind of like simplified Nashville's down a lot.
yeah,
Um, one of the main reasons they did this is to boost jersey sales amongst people that aren't actual hockey fans. So they said that by taking away certain aspects like the belt stripes, that it's more appealing to people that don't follow hockey, which I get and I don't get, I guess.
that's interesting. That's an
Hmm.
interesting way to look at it. Now I'm curious if they're going to do jersey redesigns every single year.
I hope not. I hope it doesn't become like a carnival. It's
Like
like
like what soccer does. Like every season you have at least one new jersey, and Adidas
hmm.
is good for doing that all around the world. So I'm curious if maybe they're going to do that, or if the NHL is going to be like, nah, we have our jerseys. This is the way it's going to go. Or I wonder if they'll make small modifications. Maybe who knows? It'll be interesting to see.
As long as they don't mess with the crest,
And
I
I
don't care
doubt
what
that
they.
they will.
I doubt it too. I don't care what they do with even the color scheme. Like I said, if they went back to that green and red, that deep green, I mean that I'm cool with that. But I mean,
And
yeah, as long as they don't do a
that's
redesign
the
of the
only
logo.
downside. That's the only downside is there are no third jerseys this year. So that means we won't see the red and green jerseys this year.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
Devils are on the West Coast for St. Patrick's Day, which I always loved seeing that red and green jersey right around St. Patrick's Day. So
hmm.
you know that tradition is now gone
Well, for right now,
for now, at least. Yeah,
yeah. I like the Minnesota Wild jersey,
I haven't
even though
looked
they
at
went.
it.
It's nice. They did like a nice stripe across the chest, and then they put the crest, that wild head or whatever it is, kind of dead set in the middle of it. But it looks nice. Although I loved they had those. Minnesota had those jerseys that looked like old throwback college jerseys, which were so sweet. I'm trying to think, kind of like the old Badgers jerseys.
I'm looking up their new jerseys now. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that is a nice. Yeah, that may be the winner of the reboots. That's nice.
Subtle, but it's nice.
Yeah, I know. I like that stripe across. You're right. That's pretty cool.
There's something like old time hockey about that. I don't know why.
Yeah, very much so. I am always jealous of the teams that get the what look like the old school jersey ties around the up by the neck. I
Hmm.
always wanted the Devils to have one of them.
Yeah, or even like a third jersey. I have an Elias jersey, which is like the black jersey with the black logo and the little red trim on it and stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that.
blackout
It's
jerseys or whatever they
oh my
were.
god, those things are so cool looking. I was like, you know what? if the Devils ever did like a third jersey, that would be something really cool to do. Like that just blacked out jersey. I also think that they should have went back to the red helmets because doing those throwback games, those red helmets always look sharp.
Yeah, they were always really cool, and I always kind of try whenever I see them for sale. I always try to buy one because they're just they look awesome.
They do, and it's like the perfect red. It's like this, like I don't know. I have such an affinity to that green and red era.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't like how they played in that era, but I liked how the jerseys look. Uh,
Exactly.
however, I have noticed a correlation. Whenever they wear those jerseys, it's like they emulate everything about the '80s, from the jerseys to the style of play.
Oh
Um,
Jesus.
with very few occasions,
Yeah. I mean,
they
the
bring
first
back
couple times they
everything.
wore them, they won, and
And then
St. Patty's Day, and it was great. And then they just, oh God.
I do love
And now,
those jerseys, and I'm still gonna wear mine.
oh
Um,
hell yeah.
and I that's the only that was the biggest bummer when I heard there would be no third jerseys. But maybe they'll allow like they'll allow them to use the older jerseys rebranded maybe with Adidas somewhere on it. Who
Mm,
knows? You know what I mean? Like jerseys that they may still have. I have no idea. But
yeah,
also that could mean a fire sale of all the old jerseys, which
it
they haven't
could.
had that in a long time. And I wish they would do those equipment sales again. Those were awesome.
They also did a. I know the store, the Devil's Den, just did a 50% off of all the Reebok stuff that they had in the store, which is great because but you'd still get a jersey there for like 100 and some odd bucks, even
Yeah.
at 50% off.
Yeah, I haven't even attempted to look for Reebok jerseys on sale. I was never a big fan of the Reebok jerseys. Um, it just there's something about them that I just didn't like
Very
as far as
square.
purchasing one. Um,
Oh,
I
yeah,
always
purchasing one, yeah.
yeah I always went for the old ones that I could find anywhere on sale, like eBay or whatever.
hmm
Uh,
I buy the old CCMs and then bring them down to this place called the Hockey House in Boundbrook. Shout out to them. Um, and get the numbers done over there. Get the numbers. Usually get it personalized because I had this theory a long time ago. I have a bunch of Elias jerseys, which I got lucky that he stayed with the team for so long and retired a Devil. But I wouldn't buy a jersey with somebody's name and number on it because I was so afraid that they get traded right after I bought it. I bought like a Brian Ralston jersey when I was young, so I always used to love Brian Ralston. And then shortly after he was gone, and I was like, "Oh, this sucks." Now I have a useless Brian Ralston jersey. And then he came back, but his number was different.
yeah, yeah.
I,
No, I
I
like whenever I went for a jersey, I always went for someone that I knew would be there.
yeah, unfortunately, I'm guilty of that. I have a Kovalchuk jersey too, but
Yeah, so do I.
uh,
That's okay.
sucks.
We
I'm
all did
waiting for
that. But
somebody
you
to
know
take
what?
that number 17, take that 17 and run with it. That's going to be there for a long time, and so I can get rid of that goddamn nameplate and put a new one on there.
Hey, I never had a Parisi jersey, and I'm happy with that.
Oh, me too. I came close to buying one when they came out with the first retro jerseys. The first year that they released those, um, I walked into Modell's because they had this amazing sale, and it was like you buy a jersey, you get a ticket, and I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. And on the rack, it was a Marty jersey, which I always felt like if I bought a Marty jersey, I'd jinx him. Which now that he's retired, I'm eventually going to get a Marty jersey. I know it's like sacrilegious that I don't have one. Um, a Parise and an Eliash, and I was like, you know what? I got to go with Patty. It's that's my boy right there. So
Yeah.
oh man, I'm so happy I made that choice because all those Parisi jerseys, and there's a lot of them. I mean, you gotta get a seam ripper, and you can rip off those nameplates and go out and get yourself a Hall one. But even that, put some Velcro on it because who knows?
Yeah, who knows how? Yeah, it's but that's the new NHL where you can't get. And they were saying this at the beginning of the draft. I think you can't in the salary cap era. You can't get attached to players
hmm
just
Yeah, but
because of the salary cap. They could be here and gone in 2-3 seasons.
would you rather deal with this where there's great parity in our league, or would you rather
Mhm.
deal with the NBA where it doesn't matter who you root for because it's either going to be Golden State or Cleveland that's going to win championship? And it's like
No, I'd rather the parity. I'm a
I
okay
agree.
with that.
I can't. I have such a grudge with the NBA, and it's like you listen to the radio or you turn on the TV, it's all you hear about is the NBA and the NBA and the NBA. It's like
It's a two-team league.
it is, and it's point.
Actually, it's not even a two-team league. It's a two-player league.
Hmm.
You got Steph
It
Curry
is.
in Golden State, and then you've got LeBron James, who when he was on Miami, it was Miami was top team, and now that he's
Mhm.
gone from Miami to Cleveland, Miami's no longer in the picture.
Yeah, and he's been in the playoff. He's been in the finals like what 7 or 8 years straight.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I don't
I,
want to get off into an NBA tangent. We'll save that for another show. But I'll just tell you, like my opinion of the NBA. Like I love college basketball. I think college basketball is so exciting. March Madness is like some of the best basketball to watch. I can't stomach or stand the NBA. The crap that goes on there. How they even let this happen. They have dudes like taking off games, like coaches that allow their superstars to sit out games, where you have fans that are like paying to go see LeBron James coming into your town. Go ask Sidney Crosby when the last time he took a game off. Like
well,
without when he's
but
not
you know what
injured.
though? But you know what though? That's showing the team aspect versus the single player aspect.
Hmm.
People are going to see a player, and in the NHL, you have people going to see teams. I mean, yeah, people are gonna probably go and see Crosby with the Penguins, but exactly, it's there. And the NBA was trying to mandate that they're not allowed to rest their players, which I think that's going too far.
Yeah,
Um, it's I'd much rather the parity, and every come every April, it could be somebody new,
yeah. Like look at this
which I
year.
think is
I mean,
awesome.
yeah, it was Pittsburgh again, but at the same time, Pittsburgh had to get to Game 7 against Ottawa, and they had to fight their way through the playoffs. It wasn't like they had an easy walkthrough. Oh, it's not, like whatever. We'll be in the Stanley Cup Finals again. It's no big deal. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Pittsburgh is pretty stacked. And when they acquired Phil Kessel, that was like that's as close as you can get to being a super team in the NHL. But at the same time, you had a team in Nashville who's the 16 seed in all of the in the playoffs. You know, uh, with East and West, making it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, and if Johansson's not hurt, I think they have a better chance of actually beating Pittsburgh and winning the cup. But I mean, it's just every year it feels like
All you gotta do
your
is make the
team has a
tournament.
chance.
That's all
Exactly.
you gotta do is make the tournament, and you hope that your team is firing on all cylinders at the right time at the end of the season.
Yep. Stay healthy.
Yep, and
One
that's the
splendor
glory of
accumulate.
the NHL. Is all you gotta do is make that tournament at the end of the season. Once you're in that
Uh,
tournament, it's pretty much everything's up in the air. It could be
yeah.
anyone.
I mean, look at the best team in the league. Far, bar none was Washington. I mean, how many times have we said that? Look at the Capitals, the
That's
best team in the league, and they go in there and they,
that's that
crap the bed.
President's Trophy curse.
Oh,
You
it's
never
it's
want
the
that President's Trophy.
it's the capital curse.
Well, that
They
too.
just they just I would if I had like you look at some teams and you're like, oh man, I would not want to be a fan of this XYZ. The Capitals, as much as I love Ovechkin, as much as I love the Capitals, they've got to be the hardest team to root for because they are so good. It's like the San Jose Sharks, the same thing. They're so good during the regular season, and they
Hmm.
just destroy people, and they get into playoffs, and the Caps haven't made it past the second round. Like it's
No,
it's so sad.
I'm just looking at the past President's Trophy winners, and a couple of one like the Blackhawks in 2012-13 won the cup.
Hmm.
2007-8 Red Wings won the cup. Red Wings 2001-2 Colorado when they beat us. Dallas Stars 98-99. Rangers 93-94. So it's not like it's the complete curse, but Washington won it in 2009-10. They lost. Washington won it 2015-16, 2016-17, lost second round in both those attempts.
Yep,
They just can't.
they
They
can't
just
get
couldn't
past the
do it.
hump.
The Rangers lost. The Rangers won it 2014-15,
Yeah,
and then they lost in the conference finals. Hey, okay with that.
yeah,
So yeah, there's something missing there in Washington that they just can't get over that edge
Mm-hmm.
and push on to win. So I could see changes happening in that team with all of this.
Yeah, and and you look at it too, and you're like, where are they missing? They have a high-powered offense. They have one of the best goaltenders in the league. They have a pretty solid defense. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you look at them and you're like, there's such an anomaly. It doesn't make sense, really.
No, they should do so much better than they do. So, but yeah, you know what? It's again, all you gotta do is make that tournament.
Mm-hmm. The beauty of hockey.
Oh yeah, I agree. So
It's I don't know. I'm excited too. And then you look at the bigger picture of like teams like Edmonton coming up. Toronto.
about
These
time
Canadian
Edmonton
teams.
came together.
Seriously, yeah. I mean, how many first overall picks they had? But I mean, it's just exciting. There's so much youth and so many good things that are happening right now in the NHL. I think like what's going on in Toronto with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner and that whole crew and Nylander. Not only are they like really fun to watch, but these kids are having a blast. You know what I mean? Like these PK Subans, like these personalities, like they need to let these people shine a little bit more and really carry the game, market the game through these kids, market the game through PK. Like that was awesome during the Stanley Cup Finals and during the Stanley Cup run of Nashville, where people got to see like, wow, actually, hockey players actually do have a personality.
I love his all the suits that he wears. Very Don
Yeah.
Cherry looking ish.
God,
But I'd still
the,
love Austin Matthews, an American boy from the Southwest, is the savior of Toronto.
exactly.
I love it, and that's expansion.
Mhm.
That's expansion right there into a non-hockey market with the Coyotes, and all these years later, you see the what the result of expansion is. You got
Mhm.
a kid who probably never would have played hockey, never would have liked hockey if the Coyotes never moved there, and he's now the savior of Toronto.
It was the craziest thing.
So
Well, it was a great night, guys. We got a lot accomplished. We got the first
Good, yeah.
overall pick. Got the podcast up. Just for our listeners, we are on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We started our own YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Woo!
Our own Periscope, Twitter, and 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 Shorts guy, we're gonna plug SG Apparel's
Yes.
Facebook page.
The SG Apparel Facebook page is actually showing this live as well.
So we're live everywhere.
My screen printing company, loving it.
Nice.
So we're live everywhere. I don't know when's our next podcast. Did we ever discuss that? Maybe we'll discuss that off air.
Yeah, we'll discuss it off there. We had a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a
tons
good
of
time.
Fun. Big Nico fun and all that. So I guess we should pull the plug on the podcast for tonight, but we'll be back soon. Every Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what Pacific. I don't know what China time, but you know,
6 Pacific.
6 o'clock, yeah, 6.
yeah, something like that. So I'm just gonna cue up the music. I'm getting better with this, guys. Doing the music, but
We're learning.
yeah, learning on the fly. It was kind of cool that the Beer Baron popped in the middle of the show. You guys were alert. I made one mistake. Still wondering about that. We had a caller. We did have a
I hope
caller.
that I really hope that Nolan Ryan. I really hope he has a big career ahead of him.
I hear he's got one hell of an arm.
Yep. Maybe we'll hear about him in the future.
Sounds like a real big leaguer.
Yeah, hopefully Nico isn't like Robin Ventura, when he goes after Nolan
Well,
Ryan.
let's not do that yet.
Exactly. So, anyway, we want to thank all the listeners listening in the Facebook chat. We had over 40 comments, 45 comments. We'll have to talk about reading them off and putting them up on the screen. But we're here. The Let's Go Devils
Draft night
podcast.
was princess.
I know. You guys stay on the line. I'll talk to you off air. But anyway, this is a Let's Go Devils podcast. Nico, he's a devil. He's a devil. He could be a devil for life.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Let's go Devils.